So today we're going to start talking about the stuff that you see on the board here. These are scissors. Okay, whenever you run, you hold them like this. Otherwise, you stab people. Okay. All right. No, that's you guys know that. All right. So this right here is lovingly referred to as an Exacto Blade. Now, to be fair, this is not technically an Exacto Blade. That's actually kind of like it's like Kleenex. It's a name brand. What this is technically referred to as is a hobby knife. But everyone calls them Exacto Blades. So notice that this blade here is pretty thick. It comes in a wide variety of different types of blades. They come in these little tubey looking things. And each blade is specifically used for something different. So let's see if we can shake these guys down. I mean, look, there's a little scooper, right? You could use that guy for kind of gouging out if you were going to do some printmaking stuff. They come in all different shapes, all different sizes, just like you and I. We're all unique and beautiful snowflakes, guys. Now, some of them are pretty nasty and gnarly looking. This looks like a little mini machete, right? That's dangerous looking. You can get some pretty cool ones. But the average blade, which is referred to as a number 11 blade, simply looks like this right here. Right there. Now, this blade right here is going to give you basically the precision that you need to be able to do nice little weaves like that. And you need the sound effect, I promise. But at the same time, it's also going to give you that nice little point. So you can do little tiny stuff, or you can kind of angle a little more and get some wider cuts. This guy here would not be able to give you that precision. He's not going to turn on a dime. So think about this kind of like as a sports car, and this is more like your SUV, right? He's going to be able to run through the mud, but he can't turn as well. That was my analogy for the day. Please enjoy. All right, so whenever you get an Exacto Blade, it looks something like this. Ooh, I know, you're impressed. I know. Nowadays, a lot of them come with these little guards, which is actually really nice because I can't tell you how many pinpricks I have covering my hand from whenever you put this in your pocket and you're like, oh, I'm going to pick it up, and you're like, ah, it's really bad. You know, guys. Years of inhaling all sorts of fumes from spray paint and charcoal and I mean, just it clogs the brain. Anyway, so today what we're gonna, that's my excuse. That's the excuse that I'm sticking with. Anyway, so today we are going to be creating stencils. Now, understand that because there's a little bit of time crunch, we're obviously going to do some simplified stencils. Now, like I said, last year we used something like this here. They did one version of all of the kind of gray tones of a human face. One version of all the black tones. We did them, it's considered two-tone. You can see a red and a blue version. And then obviously they were kind of merged together, and that gives you something like that. Okay? So that's kind of what we're going for. Now the key is this. You are welcome to do a two-tone. You're welcome to do a 20-tone for a light air. But again, remember that for today's project, you literally only have today. That's it. Okay. So very first thing is I'm going to explain how to use the Exacto Blade properly, as well as what the heck we're going to do with the stencil once we make it. You guys are going to get a big sheet of paper about this size here. Notice it's pretty large, much bigger than just a simple 8.5 by 11 sheet. We're doing kind of double that, so you can do the math. Now, you might have been at some point in your life and you're saying, oh, I got this cool idea for this stencil. I'm sure that's what you all just wake up in a cold sweat on. You're like, oh, I got this cool idea for a stencil. I've got to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to be creating stencils of mathematic terms, because obviously art and math go hand in hand, right? Kind of. We're going to be creating mathematic terms. So if you simply want to do like 2 plus 2, great. If you want to do a gigantic division sign, wonderful. If you want to do like x equals y 9 square rooted to the 24th power, great. I don't care what you do. Do it as crazy complex as you'd like to. Yes, miss?
Can I do equal side?
Yes, that's fine. You can do whatever the heck you guys want. That's fine with me. So, whenever you're making a stencil, though, there's kind of a knack to drawing out a stencil. Okay? What you're doing is you're simplifying it down. Again, no more different than drawing a human face. We're simplifying it down to its basic form, right? So if we're going to do numbers, which are already pretty basic, we need to think about how to connect those numbers, because you got to remember that you're cutting this stuff out. So, for example, I'll show you one. Let's say I want to do the number 6, right? All right, now first thing I'm going to start off by kind of blocking it in. Just simply using square shapes to kind of get my overall form. And again, you can kind of, draw it out if you want to. I'm just kind of using these square shapes to kind of figure out, okay, I get this circle right here. This is kind of a big circle. Notice I'm drawing from my wrist to get that nice arc like we talked about before. Okay, there's that. All right, starting to look like a number 6. Oh, a little bit. I hit my knee. Hurts. All right, so this comes around town, downtown, where everybody. Okay, all right, so I got my number 6. Great, wonderful, okay? Now here's the problem. If I start cutting out I'll use the red here. If I start cutting out this number 6, I cut along this line, da-da-dee, la-da-da, looking great, cutting out, da-da-do. Oh, crap. I'm going to totally cut out my little donut hole here, right? That's not good, because that doesn't help. Now it's just this weird, like, I don't know, what is that, like a Pac-Man smiling at me or something? I don't know. Pac-Man? I don't know. It's a comma. I have a big comma. Great. That's what I have, right? So the key to drawing stencils is to sketch this stuff out ahead of time and really think about how am I going to cut this out, right? So if I want to have this little donut hole, right, I can simply kind of bring this in, put a little, just a little line right there. It's exactly like whenever your kids, or, you know, a couple months ago, whenever you were cutting out a pumpkin, right? It's exactly like that. Whenever you're carving a pumpkin to make a jack-o'-lantern, and you're cutting out the eye, and you're like, you got all this crazy cool detail, and then, like, you know, Dad comes along, and he just cuts that big triangle and kills all of your detail, and you're like, no! And you try to get the toothpicks and pen. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So you really have to think ahead of time. What am I actually cutting out, right? So that would be, I'd cut that out. That would be my giant number 6, and I'm good to go. Now, a couple things to think about when it comes to stencils. You want to leave a little bit room at the top, the bottom, and the sides, because if I have it really, really compact, whenever I go to spray, all my spray paint is going to go off on the sides. It's not going to come across well. Okay. Rule of thumb, like a ½ inch to an inch is going to be enough of a border that I can kind of spray paint and still kind of control the paint so it doesn't go everywhere. If it goes off the page a little bit, that's okay. That's kind of actually a cool look, and that's just fine. But again, you want to make sure that the number is what comes across. Okay. Now, something obviously as simple, oops, I'll switch pencils. Something as simple as doing like a plus sign, super easy, right? That's just squaring it off. But notice again, I'm still blocking this stuff in. It's not just, I'm not just drawing a line and calling it a day. You know what I mean? Block it in, make it look nice. Even something as simple as a plus sign. Okay? So you can do as much or as little as you want. This is the only paper that you're going to get. One big old sheet of paper. So if I want to do like a two-tone 6, let's pretend, right? If I want to do a two-tone 6, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this 6 out. Maybe I'll trace it over here so it's the same number 6. Let's pretend that that's exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I've got the same number 6 over here. Oops. Look at that, lightning speed. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's say I've got my same number 6 there, and I wanted to do like a two-tone. So like maybe I want this to be like a red, and then over here I want like a cool like highlight or something. So what I'm going to do is instead of cutting out the whole number 6 again, that wouldn't make any sense. That's just the same thing. If I do one more of these, it represents high school. No. Nobody? Nothing? No? Okay, sorry, that's fine, that's fine. Anyway, so I'm going to do like a cool glare. I'm going to kind of bring this around. Maybe I want it to be like this shape. Kind of like the light is reflecting, so the light's coming from this way. So then maybe it would reflect on this side as well as maybe over here. Like that. So I would just, in this case, cut out the green bit. Like so, maybe a little bit, oh yeah, a little on the inside. Oh. Gosh, that's so cool. Okay, so I cut out that. Then I basically got 2 stencils. One to do in whatever color I want, red. Then over here, maybe I do it in its complementary color, and red's complementary color is green. Bam! Good. Thank you for attempting to pay attention. Okay, so that would be like a two-tone, right? You do not have to do that. You can do, if you want, notice these are really big right now. If you wanted to, you could do just a crazy amount of small stuff. Maybe I just want to like hammer out, and instead of me going through, again, I'm still blocking in. Instead of me going through and trying to figure out, well, 1, 2, 3, I'm just going to make a whole cluster of numbers on this page. Literally just set the whole page down, just spray paint the whole freaking thing like yellow or something. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you like. It's all the same to me. Okay? So, Exacto Blades. I'm trying to make this go as quickly as possible. All right. There's our Exacto Blade. These things are crazy dangerous. I truly mean that. I'm not even like trying to josh you. These are crazy dangerous. So think whenever you go see a doctor and they, you know, they're like scalpel, scalpel, jelly donut, jelly donut. These are basically scalpels, okay? I'm not even kidding. They are crazy, crazy sharp. I've gone out and bought a whole box of them, so they're going to be super duper sharp for you guys, brand spanking new, okay? Now, unfortunately, this is not a wand. Expelliarmus. Okay. So how do I use an Exacto Blade? Well, here's how it's going to go down. First things first, notice that it is very, very similar to a pencil, and we're going to hold it just like a pencil. Now, there are plenty of people that will tell you to hold it kind of pinching at the top and doing like this. That's fine, but again, we want to give you as much precision. You guys know how to hold a pencil, so let's just hold it like a pencil, okay? Obviously, the sharp, pointy side is facing downwards. That's the part that we'll be doing the cutting. Holding the other way does literally nothing, so that doesn't help you at all. All right, so we've got our nice, sharp, pointy side, okay? Now, whenever it comes to cutting, what you're going to want to do to simply just start cutting is not going to work as well as you think. What you want to do is kind of point and stab into the paper. I don't know if you guys can see that, but kind of, there you go. Right? Stab into that paper, angle it just slightly, and then cut. Okay? Super duper simple. That's going to give you a really nice, clean cut right there. Look at that. Oh, okay. Very simple, very easy. But also, even though you can get nice rounded edges, trying to get a whole rounded edge all the way around is going to be crazy difficult. In fact, you're probably going to mess up and slice yourself. So please don't do that. Please don't do that. So instead, notice, angle, corner right there, point right in, angle it out, cut it a straight line. Done. Lift up the pen. Turn the paper. Right? Now I'm going to go from point A on down to about here. That's where I feel comfortable that I can get on this arc. So I'm going to find my point, stab on in there. Notice it stabbed. Angle it. Coming on downtown. And right about there, my wrist feels like I'm starting to pull upwards. You don't want to pull upwards because you're going to lose a lot of stability and control if you start going that way, right? Pull downwards. Now here's the key. You're going to hear this from every art teacher or anyone who ever tells you to use this Exacto Blade. And I'm going to explain what the heck it means because when I was a kid, they used to tell me, and I didn't understand. They always tell you, never cut toward yourself. Now that makes really no sense to me. When I was a kid, I thought, okay, so you want me to cut like this away from my body? That makes literally no sense. I have no control. No, that's not what they mean. They mean you can cut toward your torso, right, your body, right? But you don't want to cut toward your body, right? That's this stuff right here. So for example, we have a tendency of holding the paper like this, and this poor guy is going to lose his life because as I start cutting, I'm cutting, everything's going well, and all of a sudden I hit a little nick in the cutting board that we have. Maybe there's a little grain or something. I hit it, the blade pops up. Now I'm pulling with all my might, so when the blade pops up, I zoom really quick, and oh my God, my thumb is gone. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding when I say that is very much a possibility. I'm not stressing it. Excuse me, I am stressing it. I'm not saying that this is a joke in any way, like ha ha ha. I truly mean that. Do not cut toward yourself. Okay? I promise somebody will be getting stabbed or cut today. If that happens, it's not the end of the world. If that happens, obviously clean it out. You guys know what to do. I'll get you a Band-Aid. We'll get you all sutured up. It'll be grand. Okay? I brought a needle and thread. We're going to sew you up really good. It'll be great. If anyone needs any buttons repaired while I'm here, I can do that too. We're going to have a whole hemming thing going on here. It's going to be great. So you're going to go along. You're going to cut out your shape. And when you're all said and done, again, you're going to end up with a nice stencil, kind of like this guy right here. You're going to take that stencil outside and you're going to spray paint it on your page. Okay? Now,